Hello, welcome to the Dripping Pan for today's game. Lewes against the champions Liverpool. Time to go through the team sheets as we see the teams coming out. In goal for the home side today, number 1, Tatiana Saunders. Number 2, Ellie Mason. Number 4, Amelia Hazard. Number 5, Nicola Cousins. Number 6, Ellie Hack. Number 7, Lucy Ashworth Clifford. Number 9, Georgia Timms. Number 14, Paula Howes. Number 18, Rebecca McKenna. Number 23, Izzy Dalton. And number 24, Lucy Porter. And on the bench today for Lewes, number 32, Chanel Salgado. Number 8, Ellie Noble. Number 10, Frida Aisi. Number 11, Heidi Logan. Number 17, Leah Correa. Number 20, Sophie O'Rourke. Number 22, Josie Longhurst. Number 27, Zoe Cross. And number 31, Laura Hartley. And as we see Liverpool coming out to a guard of honour to run through their team sheet today. In goal, number 27, Charlotte Clark. Number 3, Leanne Robe. Number 7, Missy Bo Kearns. Number 9, Leanne Kiernan. Number 12, Taylor Hines. Number 14, Ashley Hodson. Number 17, Carla Humphrey. Number 18, Seri Holland. Number 28, Megan Campbell. 32, Lucy Parry. And 34, Hannah Silcock. And on the substitutes bench for the visitors, the number 1, Rachel Laws. Number 2, Charlotte Wardlaw. Number 5, Neve Fahey. Number 6, Jasmine Matthews. Number 8, Jade Bailey. Number 10, Rachel Furness. Number 11, Melissa Lawley. Number 20, Yana Daniels. And 24, Katie Stengel. So they are the two teams here at the Dripping Pan for the final day of the season. Lewes, really, it's not been the season they were looking for in mid-table. Not likely to see any movement from them. And Liverpool, of course, as mentioned, champions of the division. They'll be returning to the Women's Super League next season. It's been an incredible season from them, by far and away the best team. And now it's up to Lewes to try and spoil their title winning party by just putting a blotch on it and winning on the last day, as Liverpool come here with a fairly rotated team, which will give Lewes some hope to try and pick up the points. We can see the captains on the day, Ellie Hack and Taylor Hines, in conversation with the referee as the two teams just have their final huddle and final talk about tactics. It's a packed out Dripping Pan, over 2,000 tickets sold, and similar to the attendance we saw here for the men's game against Worthing. It's a brilliant achievement by all at the club to fill out the stadium like this. There's been a big push to end the season on a high, and despite it being a disappointing season, a result here would be the perfect send-off for Lewes as they look ahead to next season, where of course there will be a new manager in charge, and there's hope that next season could be a lot more positive for Lewes. Thank you for joining us on the Owners app today. Sorry you couldn't be here at the ground, but this is the next best place for you to be to catch all the action on the Owners app, where hopefully we can see Lewes cause an upset against the Liverpool side in all yellow today. Lewes, as always, in red and black. It's a pretty much standard team for Lewes, no real changes. Only real mention would be Sophie O'Rourke not at left back. I think it's going to be Ellie Mason at left back today in her absence. She's on the bench, however. Still no Ini Umatong or captain Rhiann Cleverley for Lewes, who are both big misses. And another reason why Lewes can take confidence into next season, particularly Ini Umatong was in such good form before her injury. So hopefully she can have an unaffected season next year and lead Lewes to better things, as the two sides take the knee to rapturous applause from both the Liverpool and Lewes fans. It's a brilliant atmosphere here. Loads of Liverpool fans making the trip down. Credit to them. They're here in great mood after their incredible season, and they certainly want to end on a high themselves. So Lewes are going to have a lot of work to do to get anything from this game, as Liverpool get started with possession cleared away by Lewes shirt, and now. First touch of the game for Nicola Cousins. She's the player who's come in for Sophie O'Rourke and seen Ellie Mason move out to left back position as Paula Howes tries to get a pass down the line. Lewes, Liverpool operating, looks like, with a back three and two wing backs. Taylor Hines at left wing back, and then it looks like it's Megan Campbell at centre back alongside Leanne Robe. It's cleared into midfield. The captain on the day, Taylor Hines, looking down the line and straight out of play. Ellie Hack with a tough job today up against the in-form Leanne Kiernan. She's had a stellar season for Liverpool, second top scorer in the league, 13 this year for her. And she is part of a team that haven't lost since the opening day of the season, in the league at least. They've lost a couple of times in the Cup to Super League teams, but when it comes to FA Women's Championship football, this side do not lose games. They don't concede many either, only 9 goals conceded this season, which is an incredible return, as well as scoring plenty at the other end. It is the team in yellow who we're seeing early on with more of the possession. The team who you would expect to be stronger and see more of the ball in this one. This is an early injury potentially for one of the Liverpool players, the physio, straight on. It looks like it's the number 14, Ashley Hodson, back in the team today. She's the longest serving player at the club, so she'll be hoping not to have to go off early here. She's seen plenty of ups and downs in a Liverpool shirt, playing in the Women's Super League and of course now in the Championship. It doesn't look like she's going to have to come off, as she just takes her place on the sideline temporarily. Refereeing conversation, I think, with the physio, and looks like play will be resumed. Liverpool coaching staff still in conversation with the referee, and we do get underway. The long ball down the line, which Liverpool players will chase here. It could be an early chance for them as Ellie Hack comes across to clear it behind for a corner. A bizarre moment, really. The drop ball gave Liverpool possession, and then the long ball almost catching Nicola Cousins and Ellie Hack out, and we will see the first corner of the day from that left hand side. Megan Campbell over to take it. Left centre back today, but usually plays as a left back, so isn't a stranger in these crossing situations. She has an option short, but will float it into the box. Tatiana Saunders comes and gets a punch to it. It's dropped now on the edge of the box. Pressured well over there by Amelia Hazard. Dalton trying to nick it away, and the ball judged to have gone out of play on this side, much to Hodgson's confusion, who is back on the pitch and ready to go. The crowd's now really filling into the ground. It is a big atmosphere here at the Dripping Pan, so for those of you choosing to watch on the app, we thank you, and again just have to apologise you couldn't be here today for what is a huge occasion. We've seen sellout crowds at Bristol City this season, and of course the much talked about sellouts at Barcelona for the women's teams. It really has been a big year for women's football, and other news like the new FA Cup prize fund, all these things, and all of Lewes's off the work pitch all starting to reap the rewards, and hopefully the growth of the women's game just continues to go up and up, and Lewes hopefully next season can try and go up the leagues as well, as Georgia Timms can chase Robe at centre back and can pressure again. It's loose from Liverpool and eventually tied up by Robe. A calm head there to just roll the ball away, and now she can release Hodson running down the right hand side. A number of yellow shirts in the box. It's into Kiernan. Her effort wide of the post, and then it goes wide again. Liverpool so unlucky not to find the back of the net there. Kiernan looking for her 14th of the season, unable to connect cleanly, and Tatiana Saunders just about able to see it roll past the post and behind for another corner. May have been a touch off the defender. Once again Campbell going out to take this corner. Liverpool, though, despite their changes, looking so strong already. And you've got Lucy Parry and Hannah Silcock in, who are younger players who haven't seen too much first-team football, so big for them to be in the side today. Centre-back and right-back, as it will come in from Campbell. Tatiana Saunders maybe caught under it, an incredible save from her. Saunders just lost track of the ball in mid-air, and it was Hodson, I think, again, who's been involved heavily early on, who had the header at goal. It was actually Sari Holland from midfield. So a lucky escape for Lewes, a top-class save from Saunders, and now Lewes can play their football going the other way. Down the line with Lucy Ashworth-Clifford, into the back post, Paula Howells onto the crossbar, and then Campbell, safety first behind for the corner. What a start here at the Dripping Pan, end-to-end stuff. Both teams could have easily found the back of the net. And Saunders kept Lewes in the game, only to see Paula Howells almost give them the lead at the other end. I don't think Howells expected the ball to come through to her, and when it did, her right-footed effort just flying a bit too high and close to that crossbar, and then swept up well by Campbell at the expense of a Lewes corner, which Dalton will deliver, flicked on by Lucy Porter, and Liverpool can clear now. Kiernan leading the breakaway, doing defensive work. Paula Howells pressing for the Rooks. Nice football though from Liverpool. A really tidy start to the game from both teams, trying to play quick football, neat passing from both. Howells getting back in to help out Rebecca McKenna, the player of the month for Lewes for the month of March. It's not been the greatest month on the pitch for Lewes. They're not in the best run of form at all. 3 losses in the last 3 and no win in 5. And they haven't scored a goal in 4 games either, so a lot for Lewes to do. And now we're going to see Campbell, who has the famous long throw in for Liverpool. In it goes, right into the middle of the box, headed away well by Lucy Porter, who was back helping out. Howells cleared up to Campbell again, nodded down. It could fall for a yellow shirt, but eventually McKenna can tidy it up and hack all the way away. But that Campbell throw-in, if you haven't watched Liverpool this season, is something you need to look out for. It's a really effective weapon for them and has led to a lot of goal scoring opportunities for the team in yellow today, as it just drifts out for a throw-in on this near side. Taylor Hines out to take it. A number of these Liverpool players with Women's Super League appearances, some for Liverpool, some for other clubs. There's quite a few ex-Arsenal and ex-Chelsea players in the team today. And now Kiernan can drive against Ellie Hack, who did really well to keep pace with the Liverpool number 9. Ellie Hack deputising as captain really well in the absence of Rianne Cleverley, who, like Imatong, has been such a big miss for Lewes this season, and it'll be great to see her back amongst the team next season. As Tatiana Saunders fires one out towards Paula Howells. It's the second good touch of the game we've seen from her, and Hazard invited to chase it down. Campbell with a strong shoulder charge, no foul given, and then launched clear by the standing keeper Charlotte Clark, getting the opportunity to play instead of Rachel Laws in goal. And Amelia Hazard then maybe taking out the frustration from the foul moments before, deemed to have fouled the opposition player. Campbell gives it into the feet of Hannah Silcock. Outright centre back, as Georgia Timms could get on the end of this. The touch is loose and it will just dribble out. Is that going to be a corner for Lewes? Yes, it is. Robe feeling the need to get a touch and just play it away from the goal. Safety first again from Liverpool, and they maybe could have tried to play it out or even just let the ball run on that occasion. And it gives Izzy Dalton another opportunity to deliver. Rebecca McKenna on the halfway line, just getting some orders from Craig Gill, and Dalton can deliver now. It's a deeper one towards the penalty spot, away from Kiernan, and then flicked on by Hodson, just getting it away, and it's played back in. Another good ball from Dalton. Lewes players asking for another corner, but the referee disagrees with them. Dalton is the Lewes player with the best delivery. She's on all the set pieces, and sitting in that number 6 role is such a calm player on the ball. Has a really good range of passing and awareness of when to play it. Hines, one of those players with plenty of WSL experience for Liverpool. Robe heavily involved in the middle of that back 3. As Lewes win it high at the pitch again. Lucy's Porter this time round the corner to Hazard, and the return pass just unable to find her teammate. And a long ball down the line. Hodson in on the right hand side. Kiernan's in the middle waiting for the cross. It comes into Kiernan, and Ellie Hack just doing enough to pressurise her from behind and cause her to miss the ball. It's a really energetic start from both teams, and a really exciting clash here on the last day of the season. A win would mean a lot for both teams for different reasons. I was hoping to end that little bump they're on at the moment of no wins in 5. Craig Gill over there in conversations with the 4th official is of course leaving after this game. He's done a great job as interim, and the search continues for the new permanent first team manager, and he will personally really want to get the 3 points today to celebrate his time at Lewes. As it's crossed in, looking for Howells, and will go straight through to Charlotte Clark, who calmly just patted it down and now can look to get Liverpool going the other way. Clark, one of those rotated in. Rachel Laws, the usual number 1, is on the bench today. So McKenna challenging with Hines. McKenna, as I mentioned, a Northern Ireland international, one of many internationals on the pitch today. A couple of Northern Ireland internationals in the opposition team as well, most notably Niamh Fahey, who's on the bench, the club captain at Liverpool, centre back for Arsenal and Chelsea in the past, who's won the Women's Super League multiple times, and now leading for Liverpool, and rested today. She was the player who lifted the trophy last week as Liverpool celebrated their famous league win. And now they can look forward to next season, really, with Women's Super League football back for them. Of course, Liverpool have so much prestige in football, and such a big club, one of the biggest clubs in the country, and they will definitely feel like they deserve to be playing Women's Super League football. As Ellie Mason can chase from left back, the centre back out of position slightly today, but she's no stranger to going forward. As Lucy Ashworth-Clifford wins the corner, which gives Ellie Mason the chance to get in the box and offer her height. She's only got the 1 goal this season, but was a striker in her younger years at Watford, and actually won top goal scorer in the Championship whilst at Watford, so she's certainly not a stranger to finding the back of the net. Been a real feel-good story for her this year at Lewes. The 11th month injury, and then making her return and debut for Lewes and scoring on that return as Liverpool head it away. Nodded down, and it was Ellie Mason who could have got an effort in, couldn't control the ball. Howell's now battling, and Carla Humphrey can head away for Liverpool. It's played out to Nicola Cousins, centre back up forward. It's a lovely little fake shot from her, but cleared behind, completely sent the defender with the dummy, but another Liverpool defender able to come across and play it behind for another corner. Lewes now with a third or fourth corner of the game. I'll be really happy with their start to this one. They look to be under the cosh in the opening 5 minutes, with Liverpool seeing most of the ball, but it's been mostly Lewes since then. A high press reaping the rewards at the moment as Lucy Ashworth-Clifford puts the ball in, headed up into the air by Salcock, down it comes, and cleared away in the end by Liverpool, and Hodson can look to start a counter, but McKenna back on the halfway line doing her defensive job as the last woman back. And now it's played through. Kiernan, the second top goal scorer in the league. Kiernan for Liverpool. What a tackle from McKenna. Brilliant challenge from the Northern Ireland international, but chance still on for Liverpool. It's McKenna again, blocks it behind for a corner. Two brilliant challenges from Lewes's right back, saving Lewes there on a couple of occasions, even the initial work as the last defender back. Superb from Rebecca McKenna. Certainly looks like she managed to stop a goal there as Kiernan was running down on goal. So many goals for her this season, and the clear goal threat for Liverpool stopped on this occasion, and Lucy Ashworth-Clifford can nick it off the defender. Can she release a ball through for Paula Howells? It's brilliant hold-up play by Ashworth-Clifford, and in the end settles for a throw-in. This is a real brilliant show of football here at the Dripping Pan. Neither team going long or playing what could be perceived as negative football. It is end-to-end flowing football, and it's a real treat for neutrals, both on the stream and of course here in the ground. Atmosphere is absolutely buzzing here in the stadium. You can see behind the play now all of the Liverpool fans with their banners and flags. And came down, most of them in a Liverpool sponsored coach. Big credit to the club for that, as now Liverpool can attack. Can they give their fans something to cheer? As Hodson gets the return from Hines, in it goes, Hack away and behind for a throw-in. Solid defence from the Lewes captain. And worry for Liverpool could be that, as opposed to a corner, they now have to face the dreaded long throw from Megan Campbell. A different angle to the last one, but much closer to the goal. It pretty much is a corner when Campbell is over it. So number 28 for Liverpool setting herself up and throwing one in. It's another good delivery. Saunders palming it away, and then McKenna once again doing the defensive work, clears it away. And now we wait for Campbell to get over to that side of the field. And some of the centre-backs now making their way forwards. It looks like the 34 Hannah Silcock is forward, offering height in there. Robe, the only defender back with Paula Howells. Lewes looking to leave Howells up there on the counter. Georgia Timms goes to block the short throw in and now should prevent this corner. It's a good ball down the line which Howells can drop in and collect. Almost able to flick it round the corner. It's loose on the edge of the Rooks box, and Ellie Mason can step in and win it. And the foul was given Lewes' way, even though they look to have an advantage. Much to the displeasure of Craig Gill and some of the Lewes players. Nicola Cousins as well, just making that point to the referee. Referee today is Jade Wardle. Seems to have got everything right so far. No real complaints of any major note from either team, which is always a good thing for the referee. I hope you're enjoying the stream at home. We're at just around 20 minutes now into this first half. No goals, but plenty of entertainment on and off the pitch as Ellie Mason looks to link up with Lucy Porter. Liverpool now can go the other way. It's a nice turn. Kiernan trying to break through the middle. The offside flag may have gone up, but the ball unable to find her regardless of the flag. Tatiana Saunders looking for an option and going long up towards Georgia Timms. It's a decent touch, but will fall for a Liverpool shirt. And Robe happy to go all the way back to Clark. Liverpool's midfield, you'd say at the moment, winning that battle. Hazard and Lucy Porter haven't really been able to get into the game as yet. Credit to Missy Bow-Carnes, number 7, won Player of the Year for Liverpool last year and had her breakthrough year, only 21. She's a really highly thought of player at the club. In that midfield three has looked superb so far. Now Campbell into Kiernan, coming deep to receive the ball, and then happy to go back to Campbell and allow the play to restart. The game now has sort of settled into the rhythm we expected to see of Liverpool possession, but Lewes certainly offering a threat on the counter-attack, and when they can press highly, as Paula Howes tries to do now. Kiernan taking the touch with Hack behind her, and then Izzy Dalton dropping in at right back temporarily. Can you see the class of Kearns in midfield, calmly finding Robe, and now we can really see the pattern of Liverpool possession, and all that comes to an end with the commentator's curse. Straight out of play by Silcock on that right hand side, as Georgia Timms goes down and wins her side the free kick. This is a really good position for Izzy Dalton to try and find one of the centre backs or Georgia Timms in the box. Lewes do have a lot of height in the side. Hack and Cousins, Ellie Mason, Georgia Timms, all players that they can hope to pick out from this set piece. And Izzy Dalton, Ashworth Clifford over it, offering a right foot and a left footed delivery. What will it be then for Lewes? Izzy Dalton, this kind of position is one of her strongest, just trying to drop it in at the back post where Ellie Hack is currently waiting. Who will it be then? The right foot of Dalton or the left foot of Ashworth Clifford? Ashworth Clifford leaves it, in it goes from Dalton, free header from Cousins, and she just seemed to completely miss the ball. It's a long way from goal for a header, but it was a really good opportunity to get a connection as Ellie Mason gets a touch in the box. Can Mason bring it down on the volley, and then offside flag goes up, and Lewes forced to get back into their defensive shape. Liverpool keeping a good line. So Clark with possession from this free kick. Charlotte Clark has Hodgson out on the left in a bit of space, but goes short instead to the defender Silcock. Here is Silcock with Kiernan down the line. It's played out of play off of Dalton. Lewes, as I say, will be really happy with their start. They knew they weren't going to keep the ball, but they really have managed to show their offensive ability in this game. And Craig Gill playing ball boy. Grey clouds above us, little bits of rain every now and then, but fairly good conditions for a football match. The wind not too bad at all, in fact pretty much non-existent at the moment, so good conditions for both sets of players to deal with. No excuses on that front. And it's time now to get ready once more for the Megan Campbell long throw. Silcock again up from the back, and Sari Holland from midfield is in there. Robe once again, the last defender back. You can see how far back Campbell is away from goal, and yet they're still looking for this long throw in, which just shows how effective this weapon is for them. Megan Campbell throwing it in. Georgia Timms trying to block it at source, and then managing to shrug off Campbell, and the referee giving a free kick right on the edge of the box. Seemed as though Timms managed to just hold her off with her shoulder strength, but the foul given, and a bit lucky in the end for Timms that she wasn't a couple of inches to the left and inside the penalty area. So after defending a number of Campbell free kicks, they now need to defend a free kick, and it looks like it's going to be Missy Bo Kearns over it, the Liverpool-born talented midfielder, a real fan favourite at the club, and I'm sure those fans who have made the trip down would love to see her find the back of the net or maybe create a goal from this set piece. It's in towards the back post a number of yellow shirts up, including Silcock, who was near it, but not close enough. Ellie Hack again has been in the wars so far in this game. A number of aerial challenges at both ends of the pitch for Hack, and Tatiana Saunders will get us back underway. End-to-end nature of the game just starting to fade away as both teams work each other out, which isn't the best news for the neutrals watching, but could be good for Lewes. It did seem for a while like a Liverpool goal was fairly inevitable with how easily they were breaking away and into space behind Hack and Cousins. So a positive really for Gill that trend has dissipated in the game. You can hear the music coming from the crowd. We had the drummers pre-game in the away end. Really good to see and hear them again. They haven't been at the games for a few weeks. If you read the broadcast for today's game, it's available at lewesbroadcast.com. Sad news for the drummers. Trudy, one of their oldest and most fond members, sadly passed away, and that's why the drummers haven't been at the Dripping Pan. So there's a message in the broadcast today about that, and it's really nice to see the drummers back here today. They were happy to be able to come back and honour their dear friend, and they did so with a brilliant bit of drumming before the game that really built up the atmosphere with such a big crowd as well. As always, the drummers such a unique part of the experience here at the Dripping Pan. Liverpool trying to open the scoring, but Lewes defending confidently again and cleared long. Lucy Porter can chase, but Paula Howells as well involved, unable to keep it in play. Campbell doing some defensive work for once, not up on a long throw-in, but she manages to bowl one in, and Kiernan's in behind McKenna here. The long throw-in again, a good weapon for Liverpool, and Tatiana Saunders with a big save. That throw-in is so dangerous at Lewes at the moment, unable to cope with it, particularly in scenarios like that where it's quickly taken. Nice switch of play from Porter, inviting Ashworth Clifford to have a run at the fullback, but on this occasion Lucy Parry dealing with the pressure really well. Ashworth Clifford unable to quite have an influence so far. Really has been a lot of play through the middle. Georgia Timms and Lucy Porter involved in a lot for Lewes. Paula Howells now on this right hand side. We'll just wait for McKenna to move up, and this will waste a little bit of time for Lewes. Of course, a point for them in the league won't mean much, but to draw with Liverpool is a big achievement for any club. London City, the only team to beat Liverpool. They also drew with them in the other game, so they're the only team to really scupper Liverpool this season. A couple of 0-0s elsewhere, but it has been close to perfect this season for Liverpool. And with a rotated team, you can see why today, even with that rotation, they look so calm on the ball. And Campbell just emphasising that point, turning away from Howells and finding the midfield option. Down the line it goes to Humphrey. Not the best touch in the world, which allows Hazard to nick in and win the ball back. Carla Humphrey is fairly quiet in this game. She joined from Bristol City after half a decade at the Robins. Campbell going to retrieve the ball for this throw. As I say, in a fairly harmless area, but that long throw is so dangerous. You never know what it could lead to. This time she opts to bowl it down to Taylor Hines instead, though, who is the nominal left wing back today, despite Campbell's ambitious play and frequency getting down the line. Those two both really good so far in just alternating in that role. As it's played into Lucy Porter, a chance for Lewes to have an attack for the first time in a few minutes. Amelia Hazard trying some trickery to get away from Carla Humphrey, but blocked away. I think there was a foul on Lucy Porter, but advantage played by the ref. Ashworth Clifford in conversation now, just trying to maybe become a bit more involved in the game. She's been fairly isolated on the left. The play has been focused down this right hand side with Howells and McKenna. It's McKenna who will throw this into Hazard. 2 Liverpool shots behind her. She's stuck in that corner at the moment, and then eventually a foul given for a bit too much pressure by McKenna and Humphrey and Hines. So Izzy Dalton right in the corner flag will get a chance. I think Ashworth Clifford has come over and looks fairly intent on taking this. It could be a good option with the in-swinging left-footed delivery from this right side. Dalton is still hanging around and has now moved away. Could be a quick free kick on potentially, but it looks like Ashworth Clifford will just try and drop this on top of the goalkeeper, challenge her to come out and try and claim or punch the ball. Ashworth Clifford then, can she find the back of the net from this angle? It's in deep, headed away well in there by Carla Humphrey, and then Cousins battling in the corner and deemed to have pulled back the defender who had managed to break away from her. It was Seri Holland back there with Cousins. They both put in a good couple of challenges before Cousins was forced to just give a little tug of the shirt and bring her down cynically. As Liverpool try and play out, they've done it really well under pressure, but then do give it away to Amelia Hazard. Howells over on the left now, and a long ball through which Cousins should reach, but Kiernan is a very quick striker and can beat the number 5 to the ball. Kiernan into the box, 2 options for the cutback. Saunders blocking the cutback and then rolled home into an empty net by Ashley Hodson. Saunders has saved multiple one-on-one opportunities now and managed to read the comeback well, but the ball fell loose and then it went from Ashley Hodson, the longest serving player in a Liverpool shirt. A nice moment for her. She's been in the Women's Super League before with the club, and she already knows she's going back there with promotion secured, but that goal, a nice way to finish the season for her on a personal note. And the Liverpool fans who have made that long journey down to the south coast in great voice celebrating that goal, as Liverpool have their huddle after conceding, something we're accustomed to seeing here at the Tripping Pan. In game, just reorganising and trying to keep the heads cool. Craig Gill bellowing orders at his side. They have played well so far, but Liverpool probably just have deserved that opening goal, but Lewes themselves will definitely feel the goal isn't too far away from them with the attacks they've managed to put together so far. So Liverpool in the lead, arguably as expected, but that rotated team means this Liverpool team are far from perfect, and there's definitely gaps to be got at by this Lewes side. As Nicola Cousins looked down the line for Ellie Mason, flicked on for Lucy Porter to chase. Good defending by Silcock and then sliced behind by Clark. Difficult moment for the standing goalkeeper. Maybe some nerves on the last day of the season for her, wanting to maintain Liverpool's incredible record. Be gutting for them that they won't be going the season invincible, having lost on the opening day to London City. They'll definitely want to run home with only the one defeat this season. Not losing here at the Pan. This is fading into Ellie Hack, deflected away and then cleared further by the goal scorer Hodson. Howells quickly to retreat. There's another set piece for Lewes that's dropped and could easily have fallen for a red and black shirt. They're definitely causing Liverpool trouble from those scenarios, and if they can just keep getting those chances and putting in as good deliveries, they'll definitely have chances. As McKenna goes past 2 players and then fired away by Robe. Robe playing that sweeper role as the middle centre-back so well, covering Silkick on the right and Hines and Campbell on the left on every occasion, really astutely. Calmly cut out that McKenna run that was really starting to build momentum as McKenna can look to cross again. Hazard chasing it down straight into the head of Hazard and behind for a goal kick. Hazard might need a bit of attention here from the physio. The ball cannoning straight into her face, and the physio being told she's not needed to come on. Potentially just a hit to the face, or maybe a bit of a wind she was hitting the stomach, but back on her feet. It does look like the ball struck her face, just giving her face a quick wipe as she's back on her feet, ready to go again. And a goal kick as a result of that ricochet. Clark looks to fire one out to Hines. It's a nice touchdown from the captain. Lewes pressing again, nicely done though by Liverpool, keeping the ball well when they're playing from the back, but quite a few occasions they have just tried to pass too many or got one wrong. Silcock runs into Ellie Mason. Good challenge from the Lewes number 2 in the left back role. Loves to get forward. We've seen that now on multiple occasions. Ashworth Clifford losing out, but there is Ellie Mason to step in, and instantly she's trying to make a run beyond. A strong tackle from Kearns. Quickly taken throw in, doesn't look like it's going to work. Lucy Porter unable to get around the defender, and under 10 minutes to go then here in the first half. Crowd really enjoying this one, which has calmed down slightly, but has been a brilliant example of the kind of football the FA Women's Championship has to offer. It's definitely not all about the Women's Super League, as Liverpool play themselves into trouble again and concede a corner. And once more we can see Lewes put a ball in the box, and if they can just get that bit of luck and have the ball drop for them, they could easily find the back of the net here, as we see some of the Rook substitutes warming up over by the corner flag. A number of options on the bench today, including Frida Aisi. He's probably the most notable and certainly one of the fan favourites here at Lewes. Will be Dalton over on that far side to take the corner. Howells and Ashworth Clifford just prowling around the edge of the box, hoping for a loose ball. It's in towards Ellie Mason, who connects with the left foot, and behind it goes for a goal kick. But again, you can see Lewis's ability from these corners. It looks like it's something they've worked on and potentially identified in this Liverpool defence as something they can try and get at, and it's certainly where the majority of their chances are coming from at the moment. Liverpool were given the trophy last week in their home game against Sheffield United when they won 6-0. A big scoring game for them, and some of their more regular team played in that one. And found the back of the net as it's headed around the corner. Carla Humphreys chasing. She is Hodson on the square ball, but read well by Cousins, who just calmly puts it behind for the corner. Shows how quickly this Liverpool attack can get into gear and threaten in behind. It's a really difficult situation so far for Ellie Hack and Nicola Cousins to deal with. Nicola Cousins, not the usual starting centre-back, and I think her pace just lacking slightly, and something that Liverpool seem to have decided to try and target, particularly with the pace of Kiernan as it comes in. Cousins underneath it, can't get ahead to it, it's loose in the box again, and Hack blocks away at the second attempt. It really is the same story in both ends, those corners dropping, and such good deliveries right onto the goal line. Difficult for both teams to defend. We just need that bit of luck for the clearance or the ricochet to fall to the right team, and it could be the second goal for Liverpool or the equaliser for Lewes, and Liverpool will get a chance to chase that second now with a second corner. In it comes, fired in towards the back post, headed back into the box. Saunders palming it away as far as Robe on her right foot. Could fall loose again, then cleared up to Paula Howells, and Lewes now could try and start a counter, but Howells pass wide of the mark, and Hodson trying to get in behind McKenna, calmly dealt with by Lewis's number 14. It's clear to see why she was Player of the Month in March. She's been so assured in this game and made a couple of goal-saving tackles. Hines all the way back to the experienced Campbell. Rowe on one more. Liverpool happy to just move it side to side, but this is when they sometimes play themselves into trouble as Georgia Timms can win it. Lucy Ashworth-Clifford, her touch just letting her down. She'll win the corner, but that really could have been more for Lewes. The ball just bobbling up and bouncing away from her. Shipula Howells up with her in a 2-on-1 situation. It was well defended, you have to say, by Campbell, but if that first touch had just been a bit better for Ashworth-Clifford, that would have been a real opportunity for Lewes. But they do get the corner, and we've seen already that these can be dangerous. The players all crowding around the goalkeeper as Dalton will look to drop it right onto that goal line. Nuclear Cousins hooking it up into the air, keeper can't get a clear punch, and it'll be another corner for the Rooks. These corners, such good deliveries right onto the goal line, causing plenty of issues. And we'll see another one, Ashworth-Clifford, the left-footed player on it this time. Can she put in a better ball? Again, will just cause Clark to try and make a save or a punch. Ellie Hack in there looking ready to try and get a header on goal. Hack is the one challenging. It's loose for Liverpool shut. The clearance goes straight back to Ashworth-Clifford. Kept in play by the Lewes number 7. A nice turn to get away and then fired into Ellie Mason at the back post. Back across, and Clark reading it well, nicking in ahead of Ellie Hack and claiming it and just putting a stop to that pressure that was building up for Lewes. A number of set pieces and of course that big chance for Ashworth-Clifford. Momentum clearly not drained from this Lewes side, who could have been crestfallen after conceding that opening goal, as Ellie Hack will just let this run back to Tatiana Saunders. Saunders throwing one out to McKenna into the feet of Porter. Just the one goal for her at home to Palace, but it was a brilliant goal, and she's slotted through Georgia Timms into the box as Hines and Robe on either side of her. The two of them doing a great job to keep pace with Timms, and then the poke behind for a corner from Robe. But again, these corners are dangerous, and now we finally going to see Lewes find the back of the net from these situations. It feels like they're getting closer and closer. Ashworth-Clifford, it's just a case of rinse and repeat for her. She curls one in towards the goal, and it is in, and it is Ellie Hack. That has been coming for Lewes. Brilliant delivery after brilliant delivery, and finally it fell to a red and black shirt. Ashworth-Clifford with the cross, and Ellie Hack, captain, heads it home in front of Clark in goal. A brilliant goal from Lewes, something they've clearly worked on, and that will really please Craig Gill. Something for this massive Lewes crowd to cheer. It's 1-1 here at the Dripping Pan as we approach half time, and you have to say that's definitely a fair scoreline at the break. Liverpool not able to maintain their control of the game, and when they have let Lewes in, Lewes have really ramped up the pressure, and they finally found the breakthrough. And now the crowd really behind this Rooks team, who could try and maybe nick a second before the break. There won't be too much added time, I'm sure. But more work for Liverpool to do here. It's far from over for them, who of course want to pick up a win in their final game of their championship winning season. A great moment though for Lewes, who haven't scored in their last 4. They have found the back of the net today. Campbell, one of the Liverpool defenders, who now need to just keep it calm and don't concede too quickly, but they could try and score themselves. Going the other way, Hodson looking to deliver, cuts away from Hazard, tries to slide it into the feet of Kiernan, but cleared away by the Lewes defender, who now needs to get ready to deal with a corner themselves.
There will be a minimum of 1
1 minute added on to the game then, onto the first half. Can Lewes navigate this final extra minute and go into the break with a 1-1 scoreline? Paula Howes dropping in to help out the defence, not standing on the halfway line this time. As it's in towards the back post, Ellie Hack there, heads it away brilliantly. Now Hodson trying to deliver into the feet of the midfielder Holland, but nicked away from her. And Lewes would think that could be that for the first half. They have the equaliser and could try and move forward one last time. Ashworth Clifford unable to bring that pass down the line down. And then Clark with not the best clearance. Ashworth Clifford under pressure from Humphrey, and then Liverpool trying to play through midfield, but Porter can pick it up. Her pass putting Cousins in a bit of trouble, and Kinnan challenging strongly on Cousins. The referee's whistle surely now close. There it is. It's 1-1 here at the Dripping Pan at the break. A brilliant first half, really, for both teams will be happy with how it's gone. Can Lewes push home, try and get the win in the second half?
102, pink ticket 167, green ticket 268, and pink ticket number 5. Pink 102, pink 167, green 268, and pink number 5.
And we are back for the second half here at the Dripping Pan. Brilliant first half. If you missed it, welcome to the stream for the second half. We hope you're enjoying the coverage at home, out of the rain which has just started to come down in the second half. And we see Liverpool making some changes at half time. On comes the number 8 Jade Bailey for Missy Bo-Kearns. We also had Melissa Lawley coming on before that. I'll confirm who went off when I know. And then on comes as well number 5 Neve Fahey. She comes on for Leanne Robe, who had a really good first half in the middle of that back three, so that could be a big change for them. Of course Fahey comes on with so much experience. She is the club captain and she's played WSL football for various clubs, so probably won't be too much of an impact or a change in quality for the visitors. I think the other player to go off was Carla Humphrey as well in midfield, so it looks like Humphrey has gone off, Leanne Robe has gone off, and the other one going off was Missy Bo-Kearns. And I think Lewes are going to be making a change as well. We're just seeing that final huddle happen. It looks like Sophie O'Rourke will be coming on in place of Nicola Cousins. So Ellie Mason will be back at centre-back where she will feel most comfortable. And Sophie O'Rourke is coming on at left-back in her primary position. So it could be a good change for Lewes. I think Cousins was a little bit uncomfortable up against the pace of Kiernan up front for Liverpool. Ellie Mason now tasked with the job of dealing with Leanne Kiernan's pace and goal threat. And it will be Liverpool who get us underway. Leanne Kiernan with the kick-off and then straight into the feet of the substitute Jade Bailey. Liverpool want to get those substitutes an early touch to help them settle in as Bailey lets it run through to Hannah Silcock, who's had a lot of touches at right centre-back, hasn't had too many appearances this season. She's one of the many changes that we saw to Liverpool's team coming into this game as Liverpool try and break down the left. Well defended though by Ellie Hack, doing enough to just force the opposition player to touch it behind, and out of play it's Melissa Lawley over on the left, Kiernan through the middle, and then on this right hand side is the goal scorer Hodson. And of course the goal scorer for Lewes in the first half was Ellie Hack, who is the player looking to go long up to the striker. Izzy Dalton unable to hold on to it. Hazard now having to do some midfield battling to win it back. There is a decent bit of rain now coming down, so it's just going to change the state of play slightly for the players if it continues. Potentially make the pitch a bit more slick. Bit of wind as well picking up that we didn't have in the first half, so slightly different conditions for the two sets of players. And drummers behind Clark's goal gave us a good show at half time, making great noise and once again just building the atmosphere ahead of the second half, which hopefully we will see equally good football in. Both teams played some really exciting stuff and both managed to find the back of the net, one apiece at the break. Lewes in particular looking really threatening from their corner situations, and of course we've talked about for most of the first half Megan Campbell's long throw-in, which we're now going to get to witness once again just in front of the halfway line, and yet she's looking like she's going to try and throw this into the penalty area. This is a really impressive trait from her and also for our Liverpool side that just gives them a different dimension to any other team in the division. This Hines sprays ones out wide. I'm not sure if it was a shot or a pass, but regardless it goes behind for a goal kick to Lewes. Saunders and Mason just in conversation quickly as Saunders goes to retrieve the ball. Craig Gill though looked delighted to see his side find the back of the net from the corner. It definitely looks like something they worked on. Talked a lot about their trading in the broadcast this week praised the girls for their hard work and ability to apply themselves to training, treat it all like a match situation. They did some 11v11 this week in preparation, and it looks like it's paying off. This has been one of their best performances this season, really, though only drawing this Liverpool side, if you aren't aware, romped home to win the league, only lost once all the way back in August. So to be challenging them like this is a really impressive feat, and particularly given Lewes's recent form, this isn't something you would have thought was on the card. So a huge credit to the players and Gil for managing to get this out of the team. Gil in his last game for the club. I'm sure he'll be excited to find out, as you will be, who is going to be the new permanent first team manager for the women's team here at Lewes. The announcement, I'm sure, will come this summer. Maggie and Kelly Lindsay all involved at the club in that new manager search. Could be a very important decision if they can get the right person in. Could see this team really move on leaps and bounds. There's been a really frustrating season overall, a number of injuries to key players, most notably at the moment Riang Cleverly and Ini Umatong. I mentioned her stats in the first half. She's a really top class striker and it's such a game changer for this Lewes side. So if they can get those two back and a top class manager coupled with maybe a new additions, you never know what could happen next season. It's difficult to get promoted to the Women's Super League, of course, especially given the league is as small as it is and only the champions go up. But Lewes are dreaming of promotion. You know as well as me, as owners of this club, how ambitious it is and how when they put their mind to something they really can get results. Hopefully they can do so on the pitch next year and in this game, which they're currently doing against a WSL side. Really, Liverpool really are leaps and bounds ahead of this league. They've scored by far the most amount of goals. They're 14 points clear at the top and only conceded 9 all season. As Hazard goes down, that was a dangerous head clash there. Hazard, I don't think, was planning to jump for the ball, and in came Kerry Holland, just leaping over Hazard and connecting with the back of her head. The Lewes physio has come on. I think Holland will be okay, but it might be a different situation for Hazard, who of course had that horrible ricochet of the ball striking her directly in the face in the first half. So second time she's gone down with a head injury. She's been in the wars in that midfield, as have all the midfielders of both sides. It's been a really combative battle in that midfield area to try and keep hold of the ball. Both teams trying to press each other. A couple of occasions where they've won it off the other team high, so a difficult game for them, and a couple of them maybe just nursing a few knocks, particularly this late in the season. Referee now in conversation with physio once more of the visitors Liverpool, as both physios now will walk off and 2 injured players will take their place on the sideline before coming back on. Hazard definitely coming out of that worse. Craig Gill giving her a pat on the back, just checking she's okay, and it looks like she's going to be taking her place on the bench. I'm not sure if that is due to that collision or if that was a pre-planned move, but Amelia Hazard has taken her seat on the bench, and I think we're going to see Heidi Logan coming on for Lewes. Bit of confusion, I think, between the referee at the moment, just waiting. It will be the substitution announced now. So off goes Amelia Hazard, the number 4, and it's actually Ellie Noble coming on, the number 8. So Ellie Noble is on in midfield. The referee involved heavily early on in the second half. Jade Wardle telling Ellie Noble she has to wait on the sideline to be introduced once the ball's back in play. So after all of that, Lewes ended up making the change with Hazard going off, and Lewes get the ball back. Lucy Porter looking straight towards Ashworth Clifford. It will drop here for Sophie O'Rourke. Can she link up early on with Ashworth Clifford in this second half? Lewis's number 7 looks to deliver. Can she try and win a corner for her side? Not on this occasion. And Ellie Mason very calmly dealing with the pressure of Leanne Kidd, and already looks a lot more comfortable in that left centre-back position than Nicola Cousins was. But McKenna, right back, gives it away. Campbell trying to turn away and gives it away to Paula Howells. She doesn't have too much support with her at the moment. Howells going all the way and then taking a shot at goal herself that was well defended in the end by Hines to just take the pace out of the shot, but she could have got a head up. She would have seen Ashworth Clifford. Lucy Porter running into the box to try and provide an option, but more positive signs for Lewes. Ability to press high and attack quickly still there in the second half. They showed that really well in the first, and of course got their goal from that corner late on, but they could have had a couple from open play as well if they had just got their passes right with a couple of quick counters. Just not quite getting the decision making quite right in open play in that first half, but chances definitely there for these Rooks players, as Lewes will win the throw in on the right hand side. Tatiana Saunders just on the edge of her penalty box, ready in case she needs to rush out. The long ball's been quite a big threat for Liverpool. Kiernan has offered so much pace in behind and a willingness to chase everything. And I think Ellie Mason at the back now with a bit more pace than Cousins is a boost, but also Saunders' ability to come out from her goal line to help out, very important as well. As Ashworth Clifford keeps it in play, the linesman's flag does now go up, and Ashworth Clifford, all that hard work comes to nothing. It looked like she almost kept it in, and now we wait, and it looks like Ashworth Clifford might actually be going into the book here, potentially for kicking the ball away. And referee Jade Wardle then brandishing the first yellow card of the day to Lewis's number 7, Ashworth Clifford. She continued at goal and had an effort that went well wide after the flag had gone up for the ball going out of play. The referee, I think, deemed that as just releasing her frustration with the decision, and as a result she's the first player in the book today. Frustrating for Lewes, not really a necessary card in the slightest for their number 7. The ball out on this side for an O'Rourke throw-in. O'Rourke trying to just bounce the ball off of Tim. She gets it back well and moves it into space and into the feet of Izzy Dalton. Number 20 through midfield sprays it quickly out to Paula Howells. This is tidy movement from Lewes. Can McKenna keep a hold of the ball on that right hand side? Not on this occasion, and Ellie Noble can't keep it away from Hodson. Now Liverpool trying to counter, but Ellie Hack does brilliantly well to win the throw-in for Lewes. Now we'll see the 4th change for Liverpool. 5 changes available to the two sides today. On comes Katie Stengel, the number 24, on for the goal scorer Hodson. So the team now arguably starting to reflect more clearly of the main starting Liverpool 11. Katie Stengel joined in January and already has 8 goals to her name for the club in only 11 appearances. She's had a brilliant impact since joining and picked up a brace in that 6-1 win last time out against Sheffield. So a real goal threat, just been brought off the bench to go up front with Leanne Kiernan, giving Lewes another problem to deal with, as Georgia Timms, as always, chases down. Parry just helping it down the line, and a nice touch from Leanne Kiernan, and again cutting away from O'Rourke. Liverpool doing really well to keep that in play. Silcock just turning back and finding club captain Fahey. It's the first time we've really seen her on the ball since her half-time substitution. Into the feet of Stengel off the bench, looking to make an impact, and the flag was up anyway against the striker. Stengel, an American international, is down the line towards Silcock. Down goes Silcock on the edge of the box. It looked like it could be a dive from the centre back, and referee wave play on, and then Georgia Timms is down. The referee again shrugging her shoulders at that one. Sounded like a strong collision between Timms and the Liverpool defender. But no sympathy from the referee, and on goes play. Both teams then not getting decisions from the referee. Long it goes, giving Stengel something to chase, unable to keep it in. She's experienced playing for Bayern Munich and in Australia and American football, so really experienced player they added to their books in January, and those 8 goals since January have already showed why they made the move to sign her. Can she top off her brilliant second half of the season with a couple more here at the Dripping Pan? Ellie Hack not letting her do that and clearing it into play, and headed back in by a Lewes fan on that far side. If you did miss the first half on the Owners app live stream, you won't have witnessed one of these Megan Campbell long throws. She's playing at centre back, but every time Liverpool get a throw in Lewis's half, she comes over to take it, and this long throw is a real danger that Lewes have to deal with. And it comes from Campbell. A couple of players challenging, headed away, and Timms can try and clear. She's penned into her own corner and settles for the throw, and in the end, good defensive work from Timms, who was all the way back from her usual number 9 spot. It's quite chilly here at the Dripping Pan. Not too much rain, which it looked like maybe coming at half time, which is good news, but certainly a little bit of a breeze going on. And of course, as you can see, very grey skies. It's not the spring day that we were hoping for on the last day with the sun in the sky, but the football on the pitch has been electric and certainly made up for the poor weather, as Ellie Mason sprays a brilliant ball down the line. Georgia Timms, though, maybe just nursing that foot injury she picked up, not chasing that one down. Gill bellowing orders to his team as always. He seems really intent on Lewes picking up at least a point in this game to end his tenure on a high. The Welshman has enjoyed his time. I think everyone involved with the club has enjoyed his time here. He's a great guy in and around the ground, as Clark can come and claim it. Did well with Lucy Ashworth-Clifford closing her down. Held on to the ball and can now just keep possession for Liverpool. Liverpool fans in the opposite stand trying to get their team going again. The noise has died down slightly in the stadium. Silcock now down. She of course went down on the edge of the Lewes box moments ago, but didn't get the free kick. It didn't seem like there was too much contact in that challenge, but is now down holding her calf, so it looks like it could be a muscle injury for the Liverpool defender. Fahey, club captain, signalling for the substitution over to her manager on the touchline. Liverpool of course have already done 4 of their 5 changes, so this change maybe wasn't in the plan. Doesn't seem to be too much movement on that Liverpool bench though, so maybe Silcock could try and play through this. Hannah Silcock, the number 34, one of the players who came in the team today and has had a really strong performance. She can take a lot of pride in her game today. Despite Liverpool not needing the points, it's still a big occasion and she's really stepped up to the plate and performed well, and they are going to make a change. The analyst just going through a few things with the substitute. Not sure who it is just yet who's going to be coming on, but we know it will be Silcock who goes off. Shin pads are off for Hannah Silcock, and now she's got to tread the long walk around the dripping pan pitch, and the substitute will now happen. It could be Jasmine Matthews, I think, coming on. We still await the fourth official's board. Up it goes. It will be Jasmine Matthews, the number 6. Again, one of the players who would usually start for Liverpool in that defence. So Liverpool, with every change, really have been getting closer and closer to their full strength team. So difficult now for Lewes with tired legs out there. Will they be able to navigate the rest of this game up against a fully fresh and full strength, or close to it, Liverpool side? Score of course still 1-1, and still a lot to be played for. Is a lovely little nutmeg down the left by Ellie Noble, and then Fahey just sees it behind, but Ellie Noble with a nice little cameo there, knocking it through the legs of the defender, but just ran out of pitch in the end and concedes the goal kick. Clark taking her time over the goal kick. She'll be happy to have got 90 minutes in with Rachel Law, the usual number 1 on the bench, taking a lot of time over this goal kick. Does go long in the end. Ellie Noble wins the header in midfield, and Timms, as always, battles with Fahey. Overall into the feet of Ashworth Clifford, and now Georgia Timms can chase up against Fahey, the club captain, and she does really well to win the ball and then just knock it away down the line. O'Rourke though into the Liverpool box. This is a really strong run from the Lewes left back, and it just fizzles out again, just getting crowded out by yellow shirts in the box. It's long though towards Ashworth Clifford. If she can bring it down, it's a nice touch and will win Lewes a corner. And we've already seen today how strong Lewes can be from these situations. It was an Ashworth Clifford delivery from the far side that got them the opener, and this time it will be Izzy Dalton. Can she deliver a ball as good as Ashworth Clifford from the opposite side? And right footed delivery, just trying to put it right onto the head of Ellie Hack, who powered home for the Lewes first goal. It's left on the front post and hits the post, fired back in. It was a bizarre situation on the front post. Fahey, I think it was, who ducked out of the way. Unfortunately for Liverpool, the post was there to ricochet the ball away. It was extremely calm defending by Fahey if she meant it, and in the end an effort came in, I think, from Dalton, but it was cleared away and Liverpool escaped. But a bizarre piece of defending by the Liverpool side, and Lewes again just showing their ability from those corners to cause difficulties. And if they are to get a second goal here, the Rooks, you wouldn't be surprised at all to see it come from one of those set piece situations. As Hines takes this throw in on the far side, Campbell not opting to use the long throw in on this occasion. Paula Howells with a nice move to try and get down the line, and will force a throw in for Lewes. McKenna invited forward to take this throw in. Haven't seen too much of her in an attacking sense so far. She gets the return from Howells into Ellie Noble. This is tidy football from Lewes, and just in the end ricocheting out of play off of Ellie Noble, who's had a really positive impact since coming on for Hazard in that midfield space. And Ellie Hack once more just holding up Kiernan. Ellie Hack's had a supreme display. The Lewes captain dealt with Kiernan's pace really effectively and calmly, and then of course powered home to get Lewis's goal and get the scores back to level. As Izzy Dalton leaves it for O'Rourke. Out it goes to Ashworth Clifford. Izzy Dalton to her left. It is Dalton into Lucy Porter. And her touch just unable to trap the ball and get a shot away. Howells though on the other side has a chance with McKenna in support. This is good momentum for Lewes, and it goes towards Ashworth Clifford, challenging at the back post. Lewes have all the momentum at the moment, and Dalton happy to settle for a throw-in, and then tries to speed it up by giving it to Ashworth Clifford. Away from the defender, Ashworth Clifford in the box, back to Georgia Timms, and the effort on target, but just not enough pace. And Clark could make a top save, diving to her left and palming it away, but Georgia Timms will be disappointed with the connection. She had just got a bit more power behind that. That looked destined to find the back of the net as Ellie Mason drives forward and almost slots in Georgia Timms once again. Ellie Mason has such a strong ability to drive up from centre back and has shown it today and throughout this season on multiple occasions, as Lucy Porter has to retrieve the ball. O'Rourke back to Tatiana Saunders. Ashworth Clifford hugging the touchline, but the pass unable to find her. Fahey then can for Liverpool. Ashworth Clifford inside to Ellie Noble. Down she goes under pressure from Holland. Frustration for Liverpool, who have just lost control of the game in the last 5 minutes. It's been all Lewes, and they came so close to finding the net moments ago through Georgia Timms. If it wasn't for Charlotte Clark with a top save down to her left in front of that away end full of the Drummers and Lewes fans. They would love to see a goal in that end now, and if it meant they got 3 points against the league champions, it would mean a lot more. The long ball from Saunders should go all the way through to Clark, and it's into the goal. Tatiana Saunders for Lewes has scored the goal to put them in the lead. Momentum was building for them. It's a disappointing moment for Charlotte Clark in the Liverpool net, rotated in today and misjudging the bounce of the ball. But what a send-off this could be at the Dripping Pan to the 21-22 season. Tatiana Saunders has put them in the lead against the league champions. What a story. Craig Gill looks delighted over on the touchline. What a way to end his time as interim manager if it stays like this. And Tatiana Saunders gets a huge applause from the Lewes fans behind her goal. A bizarre and a brilliant moment here at the Dripping Pan. You really cannot predict anything in football. This is why so many people love the game, as Lewes look like they could become the second team to beat Liverpool in the league this season. 2-1 up, not too long left in the game to go, as Saunders, after scoring, does her goalkeeper duties, punching it away. Kiernan, who you would have expected to be on the score sheet, hasn't yet, and Saunders, with all the confidence in the world, punches it away again. And the Dripping Pan is absolutely bouncing after that incredible moment. And Liverpool, who took the lead, now have all the work to do with most of their first teamers on the pitch. Can they respond? As O'Rourke battling up with Kiernan. Those Lewes fans behind the goal did get their moment to celebrate as that long free kick from Tatiana Saunders looped over the keeper and into the back of the net. Down the line, looking for the substitute, Katie Stengel, who's managed to make it to the ball. Ashworth Clifford on a yellow card, goes to ground and wins the ball really well. Ashworth Clifford on that yellow card needs to just be careful and not pick up that second yellow. As Lucy Porter back defending, doing really well, and actually wins her team the throw-in as well. Liverpool not happy at all with the decision. Lucy Porter in that midfield role doing really well. Liverpool not happy at all. It's Melissa Lawley over there who's expressing her anger at the linesman. The Lewes men's team, you can see just behind Sophia O'Rourke in the beer garden here at the Dripping Pan. They're enjoying themselves and hoping to see partner team hold on to these incredible 3 points they look like they could take home. As it stands, still 2-1. Lewes preparing a final sub, it looks like. Another sub, sorry, over on that far side. Can Craig Gill and Jesus Cordon see this one out? It would be historic here at the Dripping Pan. And of course, to all of you watching at home, I really hope you're enjoying the stream and enjoyed the brilliant football we've been able to see here as it falls for Lawley, who will want to find the net and get out some of those frustrations she showed moments ago. It's a nice turn from her. Can she get an effort at goal? She can. And Saunders happy to just claim the ball and take her time with it. She's a real fan favourite here, even before that incredible goal she just scored, and that has just added to her stock among the Lewes fans. They absolutely adore the Lewes number 1, who could even look for an assist now to her goal as she fires one straight into the feet of Ashworth Clifford, trying to get away from Fahey, who looked for all the world to bring her down. It looked like she just stuck a leg out and caught the legs of the Lewes number 7, but the referee nods her head as Paula Howes looks to score one similar to Tatiana Saunders, but her effort high and wide in the end. We will now see that change for Lewes. It will be Paula Howes, number 14, going off, and on will come the number 22, Josie Longhurst, who's on loan from Brighton. Her and Leia Cordier, who's also on the bench. And both of those on loan from Brighton a few months ago. Still no Frida Aisi on the pitch yet for Lewes, who I think everyone here at the Pan would like to see. Real fan favourite here for the Rooks, and if you haven't seen her viral videos online on TikTok and YouTube, she's got brilliant control and really impressive skills, and was on Soccer AM recently. She really is a highlight player that can really dazzle a crowd, so hopefully in the remaining 15-20 minutes we could get to see some of her dancing feet on the pitch, as the Lewes goal scorer and current match winner Saunders in goal has the ball in her hands and will look once more to go long towards Lucy Ashworth Clifford. It's another brilliant clearance from Tatiana Saunders. Has such good range to her goal kicks, as evidenced by that goal. Liverpool fans who've made the journey down will be absolutely stunned, to see a goalkeeper find the back of the net, but also just to see their team behind. It is not a common occurrence this season, and be a real shock for them and something they will not be used to, and will make their journey home a lot longer if the score stays the same. Substitute Jasmine Matthews just tracking back and retrieving the ball and finding Megan Campbell. Throw-ins not quite been able to lead to anything yet, despite their consistency and danger they've caused. No direct goal has come from that. Lewes now with defending to do, sitting a bit deeper than they were before. Liverpool fans finding their voice, trying to guide their team over the line. Can they pick up one or maybe even 2 goals and end their season, which has already been so brilliant, on a high? The long throw comes in from Campbell, headed on at the front post by Stengel, and the header goes off of, I think it was Noble back defending for Lewes. So it will be a corner for Liverpool at the end, where Lewes scored from a corner. Can Liverpool do the same? Their players in the box are standing more at the penalty spot than on top of Tatiana Saunders, so it looks like a different approach from the team in yellow today. Tatiana Saunders relatively free in there. It's on towards the head of Stengel, headed down by Leanne Kiernan, and it just bounced wide of the post, literally inches to the right of the post. Saunders wouldn't have been able to get down to it had it been on target, and Lewes escape. Their lead still intact. Ellie Hack and Tatiana Saunders in conversation as they try to see this brilliant result over the line. Saunders telling her team to get forward with cries of shoot coming from the crowd. She remained very calm for a goalkeeper who's just scored. Didn't lap up too much praise in her celebration, just a quick hug with the team and back to it. I think she will much rather score that goal and it be the winning goal, as she tries to keep her head cool and just see out these final few moments, which could prove very dangerous for Lewes, as once again Lewes pick up the foul maybe when there was an advantage to be played. No real complaints from Lewes though, who can send players forward and also drain a few minutes of the remaining time. It's going to be Izzy Dalton over this free kick. She put in a couple of brilliant deliveries from this area of the pitch at home against Palace back in March. Led to a goal in that game. Can she do the same here? A couple of players hanging really deep out towards the back post as Izzy Dalton floats it in. Ellie Mason up for it. It will drop for Ellie Mason. Down she goes. No penalty from the referee. That was calmly done by O'Rourke to play it out to the wide player Josie Longhurst. A tidy back heel from her, and now being stood up by a Liverpool defender, and doesn't win the throw-in for Lewes, but good couple of first touches for Longhurst, who hasn't had too many appearances since signing on loan from Lewis's neighbours in Brighton, who of course are a Super League team. Campbell back to Clark, who is under pressure from Georgia Tim. She'll be, of course, devastated with her involvement in that Tatiana Saunders goal. There's always two sides to the story when a goalkeeper scores in that fashion, and especially given she is not the number one at Liverpool, that will be a difficult moment for her to deal with, coming into the team hoping to make an impression, and unfortunately looks like her error could cost her team the 3 points and lead to their second defeat of the season. As Stengel can chase this ball down, O'Rourke trying to beat her to the ball and does so. Under pressure though, O'Rourke settles for the throw-in. And Stengel will leave the ball, and we all know what's coming here is Megan Campbell comes across from the left-hand side to take this throw-in. Can she get her team back in the game and find a teammate in the box? There's a number of yellow shirts forward, only 2 of them not inside the penalty area, and all of the red and black shirts apart from Georgia Timms in the Lewes penalty box, as Georgia Timms tries to block it. Source, it's in to the area, it could fall loose now. McKenna trying to block it, and it's actually blocked away in the end by Matthews in a Liverpool shirt. Lewes maybe getting away with one there as Leahy tries to turn it out to the wing. That's a nice pass from the centre back, but Ashworth Clifford strongly battles in to win it. Lewes showing real determination and a dogged resolve to try and see this win out. They came into this one thinking a point would be brilliant to cap off their season. It looks like it could be a whole lot better at the moment. But there's another Campbell throw-in to deal with. They need to try and avoid this ball dropping to a yellow shirt. Ashworth Clifford going up, and it was Ellie Noble who came through and won the header. Her height has been invaluable since coming on. Georgia Timms, as always, chasing down, and Georgia Timms wins it. Georgia Timms all on her own, has 2 Liverpool players around her, goes for a long-range effort, and it almost snuck through Clark, whose confidence can't be high after her error for the Lewes second. Managed to pat it wide off the post. It looked like she was going to be able to hold on to it, and maybe just with confidence a bit low at the moment, decided to pat it wide, and it so nearly skewed through her arms and sneaked into that front post. Brilliant from Georgia Timms, who all on her own has won Lewes a corner from a defensive position. Her work rate in this game and throughout the season has been absolutely top class. Lewes is number 9 in the absence of Ini Umatong has been so impressive, and of course we know these corners can lead to a goal for Lewes. It's a deep one looking towards Josie Longhurst, who was winding up the volley, and Lewes will settle for a throw-in on this left-hand side. This is exactly where Lewes will want the ball to be as they try to see this game out. Sophia waiting, and I think playing a couple of games, not realising, pretending maybe to not realise it's her throw-in. She does eventually move up to the plates. Number 32, Lucy Parry over there, who's not happy with O'Rourke's antics, as Lewes try and save every second they can. O'Rourke away from Leahy, into Lucy Porter. They're playing some great football now, the Rooks, as they try to just waste a bit of time and wind up the Liverpool defence, try and build up the frustration for the Liverpool players. Clark trying to get her team up the pitch, goes short to Fahey. Lewis's press though really effective and forces them to go long. Flicked on really well towards Stengel, and Ellie Mason misses her first clearance but gets there at the second occasion. Not long at all to go now as Lewes try to see out this win. Everybody in the stadium and all of you at home watching on the Owners app hoping they can hold out and condemn the league champions to a defeat on the final day, and just play the role of party pooper as it goes in to the box, cleared away at the first occasion. Hines can pick it up and cleared away by Georgia Timms, who moments after doing brilliant attacking play and defending from the front is back right in the midst of it in the penalty box, and defending in front of her own goal at the expense of a Liverpool corner. Megan Campbell, as she does with the throw-ins, will be over this corner. Can she find the delivery to scupper Lewis's big win here at the Dripping Pan? In it goes from Campbell towards the back post. It's Kiernan up for it. It will fall loose, and a volley across goal, well over. And relief around the Dripping Pan, and cheers as they can sense the win is getting closer and closer. Now join London City as the only team to take all 3 points from Liverpool in the Championship this season. Man City and Arsenal, Women's Super League sides, did defeat this Liverpool team in the Cup, and Lewes are joining esteemed company alongside those top teams as a team that have defeated Liverpool this season, if they can hold out. As McKenna with defending to do up against Kiernan. That was calmly done by Josie Longhurst. No free kick though, again given by the ref. The referee has given her, has let a lot run today. A couple of 50-50s where she's just let play go on and frustrated the player who was down on that occasion. Ball cleared straight out of play on that far side. As Lewes win the ball and fired away by Ellie Noble. Ashworth Clifford will chase, but just to put a bit of pressure on the defence. Lewes closing in every second it ticks by, they get closer and closer to that full-time whistle that would mean so much to all the players. Craig Gill said in his pre-game thoughts that he wants this win as much for him in his final game, but also for the players who deserve a result like this after a difficult season with COVID issues and multiple injuries, games being postponed. It's been a really difficult season for all involved, and this kind of victory would just be a nice way to celebrate, but it's far from secured at the moment. Sophie O'Rourke having to defend and wins the free kick off of Katie Stengel, much to the applause of the Lewes crowd. They're really enjoying this now as they feel it getting closer and closer. Tatiana Saunders again hearing shouts of shoot as she gets ready to take this free kick. Even for her and the goal we've seen today, it does seem like this would be a bit too far out, even for her, as more Lewes fans call for her to shoot. She does go long towards Ashworth Clifford, headed in by a Liverpool player, Lucy Porter, challenging, and the clearance gives Ellie Mason defending to do up against Katie Stengel, and Ellie Mason does it really well, holds her up temporarily. Stengel still battling with Mason and getting away from her. Advantage played by the referee. The American with a nice cameo there to keep possession, but the play is slowed up for Liverpool. It's all the way back with Fahey at centre back. Out to Parry at right back. Haven't seen much of her as an attacking threat in this game. Nicely stepped away there by Matthews, sorry, off the bench. Played out to Lawley. Nice turn to get away from Ellie Mason. And they're blocked behind by Ellie Noble. Every Lewes defender now putting in the work to see this out, as a Lewes player's gone down in the box. Potentially just cramp for, I think it's Lucy Porter, as we see the added time go up by the fourth official. 3 minutes to go here for Lewes to pick up a huge win and to see the season out in style and get them ready for next season. And who knows what could happen there if they can play like this and improve the team further under new management. The sky could be the limit for this Lewes side, who still have 3 minutes to go, and Lucy Porter still down receiving treatment. Could just be a bit of cramp this late in the game, and she's now having to go over to the sidelines, so we'll leave Lewes a player short to defend this corner. And Lewes have left Josie Longhurst up on the halfway line as well, so they're short player, but Josie Longhurst now dropping back in to help defend. Can Liverpool strike while they have a player advantage? In added time, the corner comes in towards Leanne Kearney. It will drop now, and then out to block it as always is Georgia Timms, and she can even prevent the corner. Brilliant running from the Lewes number 9, and Lucy Porter, who's just gone off for her injury, comes back on in a great time to almost get on the counter attack, and she fouls Hines there. Good foul by Lucy Porter, fresh off the touchline after her little injury. Back on to pull back Taylor Hines and stop the momentum and concede this free kick, which Megan Campbell will deliver. A couple of minutes left for this Rooks defence, as Craig Gill orders his team to see this out. It's in towards Holland, and then McKenna battling. Can she clear it with Leanne Kearney around her? Yes, she can. Cleared away from Kiernan, who since the first half has been relatively quiet. And Tatiana Saunders getting man of the match at the moment. She's also got the match winner, but she, in goal for Lewes, has a lot of work still to do as this Campbell throw-in will come in. Ellie Hack heads it straight up in the air. O'Rourke challenges, and then Tatiana Saunders catches the ball and gratefully falls to the ground. What a performance from her. She has scored the winning goal, which will of course take all the headlines, but her goalkeeping has been top class as well. Little she could do about the Liverpool goal, which she actually saved the initial play for, before the ball fell for a yellow shirt, and then multiple other big saves from her. And well-deserved man of the match, and now can she pick up a well-deserved win with the rest of her Lewes players. Josie Longhurst in that number 9 role now, with Georgia Timms a bit more defensive. Longhurst chasing down. Longhurst still chasing Campbell, almost able to nick the ball away from her. Clark's clearance straight up into the air. Ashworth Clifford on a yellow needs to be careful and can just battle up against Parry. Time now must be really running out. Under a minute to go, you would think, and it could fall for Liverpool. Katie Stengel leading the attack, has shirts left and right. It will fall here for Parry. Inside the box, the cross in. Tatiana Saunders can catch it, and Tatiana Saunders does catch it. And that really could and should be it for Lewes, in front of a massive crowd here at the end of a brilliant season for women's football, and a season where Liverpool have ran home as league champions. It looks like they're ending with their second defeat of the season. They started the season with a defeat to London City and didn't lose a game in the whole season, until it looks like now they will lose to Lewes here at the Dripping Pan, as McKenna goes down and wins Lewes a free kick. Huge applause from the crowd. Lewes surely now have got the job done. Craig Gill getting ready, you would imagine, to celebrate over on the touchline with his players. There's going to be a huge cheer at the full-time whistle here. This crowd came here maybe more in hope than expectation, up against the all-conquering Liverpool, and courtesy of a Tatiana Saunders goal, who is now taking this goal kick, look like they're going to beat the champions here at the Dripping Pan. It's Lewes 2, Liverpool 1. What a result for the Rooks, as they hug in the middle of the pitch. Craig Gill graciously straight over to the Liverpool manager, and Tatiana Saunders now is going to get so much praise and love from this Lewes crowd. All of the players delighted with that win to see out a fairly disappointing season, but what an incredible way for it to finish. Lewes have won against the champions, who will play Women's Super League football next season, but they finished the season disappointingly with their second loss on the final day. Lewes absolutely ecstatic here, the crowd loving this result, and what a way for Craig Gills to end his time as interim manager. Lewes 2, Liverpool 1.
Jenny Phillips, thank you for your goal earlier today. Also, Charles fans.